And now for our next news special report.
And now a special report you'll absolutely want to hear. If there was ever a time for truth to prevail, it's now. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, a name you might have heard recently, finds herself at the epicenter of an explosive allegation by none other than Sidney Powell, the staunch defender of our former President Donald Trump. It appears that karma might be catching up with DA Willis, and what's unfolding could have major implications for her and her office. You want to stick around for this deep dive, and believe me when I say you don't want to miss our final thought at the end of this report. So let's dive right in. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, once the face leading the charge against former President Donald Trump, now faces an alarming accusation herself. In a recent late-night court filing, Sidney Powell, a pro-Trump attorney and ex-federal prosecutor, didn't hold back. She outrightly accused DA Willis of prosecutorial misconduct. The detailed document spans over 21 pages, and it didn't come lightly. It was Sidney Powell, remember, who stood firm beside Trump when few dared, consistently echoing the sentiment that the 2020 victory had been rigged against him. Within the pages, Powell alleges that Willis's indictment represents troubling and unethical conduct by the prosecutors. These are grave allegations from a formidable legal voice. And according to the Messenger, an even deeper look into the filing, inclusive of over 200 pages of exhibits, suggests that Willis' office might, whether intentionally or not, skipped over potentially exonerating material. That's right, material that might have vindicated or at least cast doubt over the allegations against those indicted. And Sidney Powell is not alone in this fight. Her attorney, Brian Rafferty, is echoing and expanding on her sentiments. He proposed in the filing that all charges against Powell should be null and void. And according to Rafferty, not only is the indictment against Powell unsettling, but it's rife with prosecutorial discrepancies. Most notably, Rafferty clarifies that Powell was in no way connected to the Coffee County events in Georgia. These events, if you recall, revolved around allegations that voting systems had been illicitly tampered with, a crucial component of the indictment. Now here's a twist. The Messenger sheds further light on the imminent trial. Both Sidney Powell and another Trump election lawyer, Kenneth Chesebro, are slated to face trial starting October 23rd. They've opted for expedited proceedings under Georgia's Speedy Trial Act. As for the other 17 defendants, their fate remains in limbo as no trial date has been pinned down. The deadline for Powell and Chesebro to make their pretrial moves was Wednesday, barring motions related to excluding testimonies. But on the same day, in another desperate filing, Powell raised questions about the indictment's specifics, or rather, the lack of them. She states, and I quote, fails in every regard to give clarity on her supposed crime. Now, we all understand the value of our muscles. As we age, especially after hitting the 30 mark, muscle loss becomes a bitter reality, leading to unwanted weight gains and even dangerous falls. I've been there, but here's the solution. I've found to combat this natural decline. I've discovered a product that boasts incredible ingredients like MyHMB, creatine, betaine, and vitamin D3. Think of it as a protective shield against muscle deterioration, like a legal shield in the face of baseless indictments. Beyond just protection, it enhances endurance and performance. You can claim yours at gainwithgary.com and enjoy a whopping 41% off with some extra surprises, or simply tap more below this video. Now let's continue with our in-depth analysis. The Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee had a critical conference scheduled on a Friday morning in Atlanta with pretrial motions on the table for review. Now shifting our focus a bit, Ellie Honig, a renowned legal expert and ex-prosecutor, questioned the very basis of the indictment against former President Trump in Georgia. In his view, it was unnecessary and seemingly backed the Democrats' narrative of a pile-on. And to provide some context, last week, Newsweek uncovered that Willis had indicted Trump and a whopping 18 others in August based on a 98-page document. The charges, total 41 felonies. For racketeering alone, each accused individual faces a daunting 20-year maximum penalty. Trump, holding his head high, entered a not guilty plea after a distasteful episode of a mugshot in Atlanta jail. Now, Honig believes that Trump is already in the crosshairs for alleged conspiracy in not one, not two, but 7 states, which includes Georgia, to rig the 2020 presidential election in his favor. And during a podcast on the Cafe program, Honig spoke about these allegations. He found the Georgia ones not only unnecessary, but also as potential ammunition to Trump's claims this might just be an orchestrated Democrat Party attack. Watch.
So, Ellie, if I recall, you were not a big fan of this case when it was first filed. Given how it's been conducted so far, how are you feeling about it?
I feel the same. And we're talking about Fani Willis's case here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I made the argument, I wrote a piece for Cafe, that Fani Willis's charges are unnecessary. And if anything, lend fuel to Trump's claims. I don't agree with them, but give him fodder that this has just become a Democratic Party pile-on. And the core of my argument is Jack Smith has already charged the effort to steal the election nationwide and in 7 states in particular, including Georgia. And so why is it in the greater good? And why is it in service of promoting public confidence in the fairness of this to have one of the 7 state prosecutors pile on with a charge of her own? I don't think it serves any greater good. I think it makes Trump's chances of getting convicted and punished higher if that's the only goal here. I mean, if that's the only goal, then all 7 states should. Michigan, New Mexico, on down the line should all be charging him too. But I think that would be ludicrous. So I think I disagree with the exercise of prosecutorial discretion by a state prosecutor, an elected county prosecutor, I should say, a partisan with a D next to her name, to bring a charge that has already, in substance, I know there's going to be different angles, but essentially been charged by Jack Smith.
Now, he pointed out that the Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith had already charged Trump over attempts to, as they put it, steal the election nationwide and in 7 states in particular, including Georgia. In his candid view, the indictment against Trump, especially the one in Atlanta, doesn't serve any greater good. It doesn't boost public trust in the fairness of the process. Instead, it might just look like another hit job, a pile-on, to use his words. And he didn't shy away from drawing attention to D.A. Willis' political affiliations. He remarked that I disagree with the exercise of prosecutorial discretion by an elected county prosecutor with a partisan with a D for Democrat next to her name. It raises serious questions on the true intent and motivations behind these legal moves. As we wrap up this special report, it's essential to reflect on why this matters to every citizen of our republic. Legal proceedings and the very pillars of our justice system must remain free from political maneuvering and biases. When the lines blur, when motives get questioned, when the foundations of justice are potentially compromised, it's a wake-up call. Sidney Powell's allegations against D.A. Fani Willis serve as a stark reminder that unchecked power and biased intentions can potentially tarnish the very essence of our republic. As citizens, we must stay vigilant, always seeking the truth and demanding fairness and transparency from those entrusted with upholding our laws. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about one case, one indictment, or one individual. It's about preserving the integrity of our great republic for generations to come. Stay informed and stay vigilant.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.